Hello everyone. Welcome back to Doctor Who and Autism Celebrations. Today, I'm joined with Josh, Andrew, and Ashley, and they've all appeared on a podcast before. Maybe not at the same year, maybe not. But yeah, it's gonna be good fun. But I'm gonna let them all introduce themselves or reintroduce themselves. So I'll start with Josh. Have you introduce yourself first?
Hello, obviously, I'm Josh, also known as Gallifrey Stands cosplay, and yeah, I'm here because I'm a big old Doctor Who fan.
Yeah, very good Doctor Who fan. Um, And yeah, I think it was last year when you come on first, I think, Josh. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's quite a while ago now, I think.
yeah, lots happened since then, definitely. But thanks for coming back again, Josh.
No props, glad to be here.
Andrew, I love the 14th Doctor cosplay.
Thank you. So yeah, my name's Andrew. I've been a big fan of Doctor Who for about 18 years now, and I thought this would be a great occasion to debut my 14th Doctor costume. I haven't got the coat yet, but it's too hot anyway, so I thought this would do. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the 60th, and I hope there's a lot of surprises in it.
Yeah, I think there will be, and
Oh yeah,
I find it funny you mentioned the coat because I've got the coat and I hardly wear it because it's too hot. It's too
yeah,
hot when you
it
put that
is. Yeah,
coat on.
yeah. I think I got the coat that you have, but I wasn't happy with it. I
It's
just
rubbish,
felt it
isn't it?
didn't match. A little
Yeah.
bit rubbish, yeah. It was a bit rubbish, and it cost quite a bit of money. But I gave it to my brother, so I'm sure he'll get a good use out of it.
Yeah, when you receive it, it looks like a quite cheap coat, and it's a bit
Yeah,
long, and it doesn't
yeah,
look because like when you look at Day 10, it looks very thin coat, what he's wearing, but the one that they give us is quite large and big and heavy.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Because if you want a proper one, I think it's unfortunately it's pretty expensive, and I wish I could buy it right now, but
yeah, it,
you gotta do what you gotta do first.
it's best to wear what you're wearing because if you wore your coat,
Absolutely, yeah.
if you wore your coat today, we wouldn't probably see much of your waistcoat and everything.
That's tr-
Yeah,
that's true, yeah. And most of the trailer he has his waistcoat,
yeah,
sort of combo anyway. So yeah.
but definitely. But yeah, well, thank you for coming on again, Andrew. Um,
Thank you, Mason.
yeah, again, you was like I think we last did. You was on last year as well. Um,
Yeah, I think I was. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's great to have you on.
Mm.
And I guess newbie Ashley was actually this year, so it's great to have you on, Ashley.
Thanks for having me on again, Mason. Yeah, I'm the newbie hoobie of the group. Yes, so I'm Ash, also known as Dr. Ash. I've been a Doctor Who fan for 18 years now. Doctor Who is a defining part of my personality. I'm obsessed with all aspects of its whole 60-year history. So I'm looking forward to celebrating the 60th anniversary. Really glad you've invited me back to chat about the 60th anniversary. I think that's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. And shout out to Andrew for being the only one who actually brought his own TARDIS tonight. So thank you for that. Upstaging us all. But you're looking really good. I thought of wearing cosplay myself, but I ended up settling on just wearing my Day of the Doctor shirt instead. But
Yeah,
yeah, great to
Yeah,
be
that's
here.
just as good.
yeah.
Oh, it's fine.
It is definitely just as good. Anything Doctor Who, is fine. But at the same time, we don't have to be in cosplay all the time, so it's it's it's
True.
it's good. But I find it funny because
Especially in Australian heat.
every time Andrew's appeared, I feel like on here we've been in cosplay. Like last time you came as the 10th Doctor, and now you come as the 14th Doctor.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. I did. Yeah.
Is it just
yeah.
that he only ever wears cosplay?
Yeah,
Oh, his
basically. I
Never
wish. I wish
dresses
I
in
could get
anything.
away with that.
his parents named him Cosplay Andrew. He has no choice.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That is his official name.
My name's been chosen for me.
Yeah, he
yeah,
doesn't even like cosplay.
Ah,
yeah.
I tolerate it.
Yeah, because it can be a task to get it on
Oh,
sometimes.
yeah. Mm.
Worth it though.
No,
It's good.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
No, thanks, mate. I appreciate that.
thank you.
Hair's looking sharp too.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I did it specifically for this.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
don't usually have my hair like this. I just thought it has to, go with this. So
has to represent it. Yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
very good, very good. So I guess the first thing maybe we should talk about is the trailer on September 23rd, seems ages ago, but what did we all think of it? Did we like that Doctor Who trailer?
I mean, I personally was like a 5-year-old, like sat in my flat screaming. So I think you could say I liked it. That would be an understatement.
Yeah,
But I just can't wait to see David Tennant and Catherine Tate back. Like that's the big draw, isn't it? I think.
yeah. It brings
Definitely.
back all those years.
Yeah, same here. I
Definitely.
was yeah. Oh, there you go.
No, you go. You're right.
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say same here. I probably squealed a little, squealed like a little girl when I saw it. It's given me sufficient levels of hype. I was already excited, but the new trailer, yeah, really took things to the next level. The confirmation that Neil Patrick Harris is the toy maker. Finally, yeah, we already knew it anyway, but it's finally been confirmed. That shot of him, gigantic toy maker form, that was really cool.
Oh yeah.
Lots of little Easter eggs and things to look at, little hints of what could be going on in the plot. So yeah, just super excited.
Yeah, it's
Well, my reaction was permission to squeal. If you don't get that reference, I'm sorry.
What are you even doing here?
yeah.
Yeah.
I loved
But
it
yeah,
as
no, it
well.
was yeah.
Yeah.
It was it just brought brought elements from the past back, which I know the show has been doing for a number of years. David Bradley, who was fantastic as the first Doctor, but a lot of people said, oh, he brought the first Doctor back for the sake of nostalgia. But look, I don't mind Doctor Who doing that every once in a while. And since it's the 60th anniversary, they've got to do it, right? It'd feel a bit
Well,
weird if they didn't do it.
well, see, exactly. Like, I'm a sucker for nostalgia. That's what I want, Like, I know some people aren't for that sort of thing, but to me, especially, like I said, 60th anniversary, I want lots of nostalgia. I want, fan service, and it's a celebration. It's got to be fun, and
Absolutely,
you gotta honor the show's history. So go for it.
absolutely. And I think Russell T Davies is the man for the job.
Agreed. We can exactly while he's captaining the ship, we can rest easy knowing that we're in safe hands.
I think what's good
Oh,
with Russell
definitely.
is that he's not only is he a fantastic writer, but he's a fan of the show as well. So he's not gonna, he's not gonna write something that is going to go against the show's history. He's not going to do anything that's just for sort of hype and nostalgia. It's going to be planned, I hope, in a way that is going to make sense, but is going to have that nostalgia, but done in a sort of the right way. And I think that's what excites me about having him back. Plus the fact that he made my childhood, so having him back is just the best thing.
Yeah. He is like the genius of Doctor Who, isn't he? He's like Doctor Who's very own Shakespeare. I think
Yeah,
I've said from the beginning that he wouldn't have come back if he didn't have ideas that were worthwhile to explore. If he didn't have a plan, he wouldn't come back just for the sake of a paycheck. He'd only come back if he actually had a vision he wanted to explore, worthwhile ideas. He's not going to just phone it in. So yeah, whatever he's got cooking, it'll be worthwhile, I think.
well, he must.
Oh yeah.
I think he must have a bit of a long-term plan as well, because he keeps saying things about 3-4 series. So it sounds like he's got something to build, which, like you say, you wouldn't do that if it was just for a paycheck. You'd come back for one season or something, wouldn't you? So I'm interested to see where he's going. I mean, I'm obviously excited for the 60th, but I'm almost more excited to see where he takes the show beyond that.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
we'll have to wait and see, because that's a long way in the future.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll be here sooner than you think.
Yeah, well, technically Christmas special, so really it's not that far away, I guess. You get the 60th, and then the following month you get the Christmas special, so I guess that's the beginning of the next chapter, so...
Yeah, I suppose that is
Yeah,
a way to look
exactly.
at it.
yeah,
And should he get one in a kilt?
Finally, after all these Scottish doctors, we finally got one wearing a kilt.
Exactly. And he is Scottish in real life too, so that's even
Yeah, that's what I
better.
mean, yeah. He's what, the fourth Scottish doctor we've had? We've had McCoy, Tennant, Capaldi. Yeah, he's the fourth Scottish
Yeah.
doctor. The first one to wear a kilt, so, you know, about time.
There you go. Perfect.
they like their Scottish Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Not an Irish one yet, though, have we?
Yeah, no Irish.
No, not yet.
I'm not sure
Oh,
they. Yeah, not Welsh.
English,
If
all
it-
English.
and Scottish, isn't it?
If they ever cast with Michael Sheen as the Doctor,
Yes.
I might get a Welsh one.
That's what I wanted.
I've always... There are two different Welsh actors who have wanted to be the Doctor. I wanted I'll probably mispronounce his name, but Jørn Grufford. He
Yeah.
And Matt Ryan, who played Constantine in the Constantine TV show. They're two actors that I'd like to see play the Doctor, and they're both Welsh, so...
Oh, I'm not sure about that, Brian. I'd like to see him in Doctor Who. I don't know if I'd have him as the Doctor.
I think he'd be great.
He could better play a villain, I feel.
I'd like to see Eddie Redmayne.
Eddie Redmayne, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see him in Doctor Who.
Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he already looks like the Doctor in Fantastic Beasts, so why not?
Yeah.
I'd picture him as a Doctor, but he will never be the Doctor now because he's been in Fantastic Beasts because he's too well known, and Doctor Who like
Yeah.
people who are not. So unless in a million years they have, I don't know, him as like a cameo or something, be nice to see him in Doctor Who one day.
You never know.
Fingers crossed.
One day, maybe.
Maybe. Who knows? But it's gonna be interesting.
Only time will tell.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting what accent Ncuti Gatwa has because he's Scottish. It's gonna be interesting what accent they give him as a Doctor.
I think
I think
give him the chance to, the creative choice to choose that himself. I'd have thought he'll stick with his Scottish.
Yeah.
But I think I saw a video the other day about Ncuti Gatwa talking about the sort of roles he tends to play. And they were saying that he tends to sort of play himself anyway. He's one of those kind of actors that very much kind of brings his own personality into the roles he plays. Like if you look at Sex Education and things like that. And I've not seen Barbie, but apparently Barbie as well. He's very much Ncuti Gatwa. So there's people saying that he's going to kind of bring that energy to Doctor Who as well, which I think would be interesting because he's certainly got that energetic personality, I think, isn't he? That it is the Doctor for me. So it'll be interesting to see.
Felt like Tom Baker when he got the role. He just, when he was cast, people asked him, "How would you play the role?" And he went, "Oh, I don't know. I'm just going to be Tom," And he just brought himself into that character. And yeah, he's become one of the most iconic Doctors ever. So you never know. It might be the same for Ncuti.
Be the new Tom Baker. That's some bar to set.
Yeah. I think
now.
so. Yeah, but I think it's possible though.
I think Ncuti will be a good Doctor because he'll be one of the only Doctors to be working under a big budget, like with the help of Disney Plus and everything. So he will have the height. There will be a lot of pressure on him. I think there's always a lot of pressure on every Doctor who's the Doctor. Like you've got to perform well, and the fact that he's actually watched the show himself anyway helps with that. Helps with how he sees the show.
I think
Jodie.
Sorry.
Sorry. I was going to say, Jodie herself admitted she hadn't watched Doctor Who when she was cast. Although I think she did ask Chris Chibnall, "Shall I watch previous shows to know what's going on?" And I think he advised her not to, which I think, as much as I like Jodie, she was great. I think her not being familiar with the show prior to taking over was a mistake. But that's just me. That's what I think. I think it's important to have if you're being cast as the Doctor, you have to have an understanding of the character and the universe that you're about to play in. But look, that's just me, of course.
No, I think Jodie struggled to be the Doctor, and I think it partly because I've been watching her again recently, and I think sometimes I look at there's flashes of her, and don't get me wrong, I love her, but there's flashes of moments where I'm like, that's the Doctor. But then there's a lot of periods where I'm like, it just doesn't quite feel like the Doctor to me. And I wonder if, like you say, if that's because she hadn't had that opportunity to kind of explore that character beforehand and kind of get her eye in, if you like. It's nice to see a fresh version of the character, don't get me wrong, but I'd have liked to have seen more scenes where she is the Doctor. Like, I was talking to a group of friends about The Haunting of Villa Diodati. That moment where they're in the basement and she has a go at Ryan and she talks about how she has to make the difficult decisions, and that feels like the Doctor, but I don't think there's enough of that in her era.
No, definitely not. No.
Funny, I'm half when it comes to actors being familiar with the show, because I do generally think they should be. Like, I think, like, David Tennant and Peter Capaldi were fanboys, and I think it shows, and Matt Smith at least watched some Doctor Who before when he was cast. He watched a little bit. He drew a lot of inspiration from Patrick Charlton, so I think it is good. But at the same time, I remind myself that back in the day, during the classic series, that wasn't really a thing that happened so much. Like Patrick Charlton and John Pertwee, they were doing their own thing. They weren't really taking a whole lot of inspiration from previous Doctors. So I guess it's like, for the most part, I think they should be familiar with the show to some degree. But at the same time, it's like, I guess it's not necessary. It's just like an added bonus, I guess. It can sort of just help the performance connect a little more. I don't know.
Yeah, you got a good point there. Yeah, because like when William Hartnell took over the role, I think he was given a very brief description. You're just playing a grumpy old man who travels through time and space, and I think he created that character from that description. And I think they also added, Father Christmas. Yeah, I think he's a mixture of Father Christmas and I can't remember what the other one is, but he took inspiration from characters like that and sort of brought it into his character.
He really wanted to find the heart of the character.
Yeah, like Hartnell found that, in my opinion. Yeah,
you can see it in like his early episodes. He's very much just a grumpy old man. But as as time went on, he softened a bit, became more of a warm, gentle, because he wanted children to he wanted to have a grandfatherly feel. He didn't want to just be like a mean. People sort of forget in the very beginning. The Doctor was kind of a bad guy almost. Like, he pretty much kidnaps his first companions. He tries to kill a caveman. He wasn't the best. He was sort of this untrustworthy, mysterious alien, and but Hartnell really did a good job at he wanted to soften the character, like that whole Father Christmas comparison, make it feel like more like a grandfather, and within a few stories he had found that mix of grumpy old man and kind grandfather, and he sort of managed to maintain that in a really nice way. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because Ian and Barbara, in my opinion, I think Ian and Barbara are sort of the inspiration for the Doctor, if you think about it, because Ian and Barbara take the Doctor role, if that makes sense, in that first story. Like, obviously the first Doctor just didn't care about helping anyone. He just wanted to get out of there. But Ian and Barbara, they actually wanted to help a caveman who was injured, and that's the same one he tried to kill. So, it's amazing how the companions, especially Ian and Barbara, have had a big impact on the Doctor's character. So I actually made a TikTok video, because I used to do what ifs for Doctor Who on TikTok, and I made one: what if the first Doctor didn't meet Ian and Barbara? Would he have changed into the man he is today, or would he have gone a completely different direction? Yeah, it's nice to think about things like that today. When you dare think about it.
I think that's a really interesting thing. Yeah,
I think the Ian and Barbara thing is interesting as well, because now that I think about it, now you say that, you can almost see kind of parts of the Doctor's character within them. So, like, Barbara's the kindness, Ian is the kind of super intelligence almost, and then you've got Susan, who's like that childlike wonder, and you put those three things together, and you've kind of got what is now the Doctor's character. So yeah, that's almost blown my mind a little bit, actually.
Yeah.
Quite an interesting
Yeah.
thing about.
It's amazing,
You've,
isn't it?
completely like changed, like you've really distilled, just like give me a new way to evaluate the Doctor and how he's been influenced by his companions. Like I've never like
That's
it's
it.
something that what you said is something that I recognize, but I've never thought about exactly like that before. So now that you've said it, I thought that's a really interesting way to look at it. But it really did help inform his
Yeah,
personality going forward.
I think.
That's it. Yeah. And look,
Yeah.
oh, sorry, Mason, you go.
No, I was going to say I agree. Like I think the companions really help the Doctor. Like in each incarnation, they help because let's imagine if like maybe the 10th Doctor, for example, 10th Doctor didn't meet anyone, we probably wouldn't like the 10th Doctor as much because I think the companions help. And with the last era, I think I think the best companion probably was Graham. If I had to choose one, but really it shouldn't be. Yeah, Graham should not be the best companion because he's not really a companion in a way. He's just like just there, like for Ryan and that. So I think the reason potentially why a lot of people didn't, not just because of the writing, I think maybe just stuff was in the episodes. Like there was too many people there, and I feel that the companions didn't really do. They were just there, they didn't like do much. They just went on adventures. So yeah, I think companions that do play a massive part on how good the Doctor can be.
It's kind of like you have your own family and friends in your life. They in a way influence who you are if you think about it. Have you ever had that one friend or family member that influenced the personality you have today? It's kind of like that if you think about it. Yeah. So it's almost realistic.
And it is something that you can see has continued on as like this sort of subliminal theme throughout the show's history. Like especially in New Who, you sort of developed this idea that when the Doctor travels alone, that's when he goes down darker paths, or he needs someone there with episodes like Turn Left establish that when he's doesn't have someone there to hold him back, that's when he loses control. And so you can sort of see as like a through line from the very beginning. He starts out as just a grumpy old man. He just wants to go see the universe with his granddaughter, doesn't really care about anyone or anything else. He gets a little softened and influenced by the humans he picks up along the way. But even to this day, despite being generally a better person, he's still got that undercurrent of, if I don't have someone here with me to hold me back, I'm going to revert to that sort of darker, less caring version of himself or theirself. You literally had, 12 literally had to have Clara as his carer to care so he doesn't have to, things like that, But it's sort of been like, when you look at it, it is like an ongoing theme that's touched upon at various points in the show's history. But yeah, he does sort of maintain that through line, and he does need other people around him to get him to stay the course and stay who he should be or who they should be. So yeah, it's interesting that you've framed it like that now.
Yeah.
I mean, the show's been going 60 years, so they must have been doing something right with picking these doctors and companions. Because I imagine the process in picking a doctor is very complicated. Because there's so many people you can choose from. So I think when Shooter was cast, he was the last one in, and they already had their choice. So it'd be lovely to hear who that was, but then they'll never say that because we'll be like, oh,
Eddie Redmayne.
yeah.
We might get them next time. Maybe they'll just go for an easy cast for next time. We've already got someone in mind.
Yeah, I think it's only gotten more difficult for them as time's gone on. In this day and age, there's probably so much pressure on them. So we've got a lot of factors to consider, and I don't envy them.
I think as well, it's so much harder nowadays. Like back in the 70s, it would have been so easy to cast someone and no one would know about it until they announced it. But now they've got to be so careful with what gets leaked and what finds its way online. Like you look at Instagram or Facebook or whatever now, there's so many pages that are about leaks and sort of behind the scenes news and all this sort of stuff. I would not want to be a showrunner having to hide all of these details. It must be so difficult.
Yeah,
It would be, yeah.
I remember Night of the Doctor. That was supposed to be on the 23rd of November in 2013, but they had to leak it, but because it was leaked, they had to share it early because it was already leaked by everyone. So that is so annoying.
Yeah.
Well,
It
that's
was,
a lot
yeah.
of details
Or
about the 60th as well, isn't there? That have come out a little bit earlier than they intended. Like I think one of the trailers came out a bit earlier because
Yeah.
someone had got hold of it or something.
I-
So
I'd say, yeah.
I still think there's got to be at least one big secret that they mentioned. Like we've sort of gleaned a lot of details about the 60th specials. There's got to be. I'd like to think there's at least one big secret that we have yet to be revealed. But there's got to be. I feel like with what they've shown so far, they only would have shown what they have if they had at least like a couple more big reveals. They're not going to show their full hand that early on. So I'd like to think, like we've confirmed the toy maker, but Neil Patrick Harris is a toy maker. So I feel like there's got to be at least one nuggets left that we can all go, oh my god, didn't see that coming.
I think there's a number of things. Like from what I've heard at like panels at Comic Cons and things from various kind of ex Doctor Who stars, they all sound really cagey, which makes me think either you're involved or you're involved in something further down the line.
That's it, yeah.
Like when we were at Telford last year and Freema Rageman was there and someone asked if she was involved in Doctor Who in the future at all, and she just looked so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But if you're not, you could easily just say, look, I'm really sorry, I'm not. But she knows that she can't say that because if she's in it, she can't say that because it's not true. But equally,
Well, I think
she can't say she is.
isn't it rumored that she's going to be part of the unit series? I think I've heard she's supposedly going to be in the unit series. Don't know if that's true or just
that's what I've heard as well. I think that would make sense because she was working. Was she working for Unit in Journey's End? I think she was, wasn't she?
Journey's End she was,
yeah.
But by end of time, when the Doctor's doing his farewell to her, her and Mickey are freelance. If I remember correctly, she's like, "Oh, ever since we went freelance or something." So, but you could easily just have her like, "Oh yeah, she's back at Unit now." Like,
I mean, Unit's been shut down and restarted since then. So
yeah, but continuity isn't exactly tight with Unit, so I can't even decide what decade they're in most of the time.
That's it. And, I mean, they did kind of explain Unit being shut down and brought back in series 13. I could be remembering this wrong, but I think because Kate went on the run, so Unit was a bit in the air or whatever. So I don't know really, but but continuity hasn't always been great. Like for example, the Third Doctor's era being set in either the 70s or the 80s, that drives me mad. I just think 70s. Yeah, it's in the 70s. I don't care what you say. It's the 70s.
I read about there's a series of Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart novels that addressed that. Apparently, the solution they gave was that I can't remember it exactly, so I'm probably getting this wrong, but it was something along the lines of due to the Doctor spending so much time traveling to like 20th century Earth, it's caused all these like time distortions that sort of caused the 70s and 80s to happen simultaneously. So there's sort of like one merged block of time or something along those lines. Like I'm probably getting it wrong, but I just remember reading about it on the TARDIS wiki. So yeah, someone you can always trust fans to come up with explanations for these things.
Yeah, definitely.
I always just assume I think of it as the 70s. Like I always just say I assume it was the 70s. It makes more sense, but yeah.
And of course, in hindsight, it's the fashion.
Yeah.
I think the only one that's not in the 70s is like Battlefield that involves Unit, isn't it? I mean, most of it's the 70s.
Battlefield is that's meant to be the early 90s, I believe, because it's meant to be a few years ahead of Ace's time. So I think that's roughly like early 90s, but yeah, majority of units
between 90 and 92,
something like that. Yeah.
Didn't Ace only do a season in Doctor Who?
That would be amazing.
Sorry, what was that?
Didn't Ace only do that one series? Like in the classic?
Ace did two and a bit. She did 2 full seasons plus the final story of 1 season. So total of 9 stories.
Okay.
She was there for a bit.
And she's very iconic too.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, everyone loves her.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, she's amazing.
I got to meet her this year, so that was a highlight.
Yeah, that's good.
I want to meet her. I'm so jealous. I really want to meet her.
She's
Yeah,
great.
I've met her as well. She's lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met Katie Manning earlier in the year. She was lovely.
I met her last Saturday, 1 week ago today.
Oh, I saw the
I think I
photos.
saw your
Yeah.
post about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Katie's great.
Mm.
That was actually my third time meeting her. She's wonderful.
Yeah, she is. She has to hug everyone, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also birthday too, so it was extra fun because her kids and granddaughter were there. It was really nice. So her partner, not her husband, her partner.
Yeah. She has family in
Yeah.
Australia. Yeah, she was saying about that when we saw her. But yes, it's very nice when you get to have the chance to meet the people that you've watched on the telly, and to find out how lovely they are in person as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I'm a sucker for. I'm always up. I'm always meeting actors at conventions and stuff, and always hoping to meet different people that I love. Love to meet David Tennant one day.
Yeah.
Yes, please. That'd be great.
He's
I've met
lovely.
him.
Yeah.
He is really lovely.
Yeah. He's as
Problem
good as
with-
he is on the telly.
The problem with someone like Tennant, though, is that because they're so popular, is you get seconds with them often. So when I was David Tennant, I was obviously dressed as 10 for the Comic Con. It was very much a hi, nice to meet you. You look great, thanks. Right, move on. And so, like, as much as it was amazing to meet him, and like, my childhood like dream because he was like my doctor as a kid, it was still a bit like anticlimactic, almost like I queued for ages. That was the 10 seconds of interaction that I got, but it's still amazing. It's still David Tennant at the end of the day. It's still the 10th Doctor.
Yeah,
and 4th.
it's always like that.
It's funny.
I mean,
It's sad when these conventions work like that. I mean, look, I get it, but you pay so much money to meet them that you think it'd be more worthwhile, or at least make tickets a little cheaper. But I don't know. I'm not a businessman. I don't know. But that reminds me of a story at the Doctor Who Festival in Sydney, 2015, I think it was. Yeah, 2015. I met Peter Capaldi there, and so I remember I was standing in line with my mum because she came along. And then when Capaldi came out of the curtain, literally everyone clapped and cheered. And then Capaldi said some words. I can't remember what everything he said, obviously. But I remember one thing he said. He said, "Welcome to the photo factory," because it goes do 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 do. And but yeah, Capaldi was so amazing that day because he would always take the time to talk to each and every one of us. And I think the owners of the event, they were just like, "Come on, Peter, let's get a move on." And he's like, "No, these people have paid good money to come and meet me. I'm going to talk to everyone." And that's what he did. He talked to everyone. He was absolutely lovely. I even got a hug from him that day, and that was so brilliant. That's a memory that's never going to go away anytime soon.
Yeah, I think I never see him on any conventions really, Capaldi, much now.
No, I
think he's only done two.
I think he's. Yeah,
we were lucky because.
And I think.
Oh no, I was just gonna say we were lucky because he was still the current Doctor at the time, so that's really rare for Australia to get the current Doctor here at a convention. Like that was a unique experience.
That's probably the only time we'll get it, I reckon.
Oh yeah, it'll never happen again.
No, it
what
won't.
you were saying, Andrew,
Unfortunately,
about him wanting to talk to people, I think is the reason he doesn't do them. I think I read somewhere that he says he doesn't like the fact that people pay all of that money to meet him and get seconds with him. I think he finds that it's almost like unfair, and that's part of the reason he doesn't do it.
And that's
fair enough. Yeah,
admirable.
I can respect that. He came back for another convention in Melbourne a few years ago, so he's been here twice, which is surprising. But yeah, I think I can respect that. That's really nice, a nice viewpoint for him to have. He doesn't want people to, I guess, in his mind, waste their money for like a few seconds. Like it's sometimes it does feel obviously sometimes it does feel like you just get pushed through and you're like, okay, that was $100 whatever, just to get.
It's like that when a lot. it's like they're winning the lottery every time, because I remember a year I went to see the 5 doctors at a convention, and then it was all by cash. So it wasn't you wouldn't, but you don't pay a prior to it. You actually give them the money in person, and they have their little box of money, and then I'm just laughing, like watching, like you actually you'll like chucking the cat at them like there's no tomorrow. So it's quite funny, and like that their manager's like, it's, I don't know, it's like, it's £20, please. What do you want? Do you want a selfie? Do you want just a photo? Yeah, it's crazy.
They must make a
That's
fortune.
Yeah.
These ones.
Yeah.
Oh, they do. And look, they just, I mean, I can't speak for all of them, but most of them just care about the money. They don't actually care about the fans meeting their celebrities. They just, if they make a profit off it, that's all about it at the end of the day. But again, I can't speak for all of them. But that's the kind of vibe I get every time I go to a convention is, oh yeah, this is all about making money. You know, it's not about making our dreams come true. They'll say it is, but I could be wrong about all of them, though, of course.
I think you've got to look at it from a perspective of like, it's their job. So like, especially when you look at people like Sylvester McCoy, Colin Baker, they're not getting loads of acting jobs these days. So it's a way for them to make consistent money. And I have no problem with that. You know, it's like none of us do, you know, or very few of us, I would imagine, do a job because we want to, we do it to be able to live. So you've got to look at it in the same way with these people.
I suppose, yeah.
And I think, but
that's actually a really good point.
But even still, like the stories that, like with Sylvester McCoy, so I met him a couple of years ago at Telford, and so I'd booked a photo op, but I was going to a gig back in London that day, so I wasn't going to be able to stay late. And then they announced his photo times as like 4:45 or something. I was like, there is no way I'm going to be able to stay here that late. So I just went to his table and was like, look, I've got a photo op booked with you later. Is it possible I can swap it for an autograph? And the manager was kind of like, oh, no, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure if that's okay. And then Sylvester just went, look, I'm going to get the money either way. It's absolutely fine. Like, I don't want him to miss out on the thing. And like, he was an absolute gem. Like, gave me the autograph, came from his table, let me have a little selfie with him. Like, just the kindest bloke. And like, that doesn't script, because he could have said, oh no, you got to pay for the autograph so I get double money. Do you know what I mean? Like, but he didn't. So that just says to me that it is about the money, but also they do care about the people that they're meeting.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and you know, like,
oh no, you go in. You go.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, like, I get that perspective. I do get that perspective, but yeah, it's kind of complicated to put into words. But I guess I kind of see Capaldi's point of view on it. But the reason I go to conventions is to meet other cosplayers, and you know, if there's someone that I really like there, I'll go. Oh yeah, I'll go meet them. That's great. I don't mind meeting that person, but I mostly just go for the cosplayers and meet people and that sort of thing. You know, that's more fun to me as well.
Christopher Eccleston went to a Comic-Con earlier this year, and he was actually very honest about something. He was like, he actually said, I'm here, it's my job, I get paid for this. I'm not having much work at the moment.
Says that.
Yeah, he don't have much, he's not much. So at least he's honest. I'd rather than be honest, but sometimes I feel, say if so, like, I think we look at that age. So say if they're like an 8-year-old and they're saying £60, £70 for a photograph, I think that's outrageous. So I think mostly the older, like the younger ones, let's say Shooty Gatwa now was going to start conventions in a few years. It would be expensive because he's the current doctor, and like David Tennant, I think it cost about £80 when you had a photo with him. So I think, like, the more, I guess, I wouldn't say more popular, I guess more, I think they maybe focus their price on how old they are. And I think so like David Tennant's in his 50s, still working. And like more the older people are maybe like £20 or something. So I think they do it that way, and it's why maybe the older ones get more, because it's not that expensive in a way. It's reasonable price, I think. for them?
I think for me, it should be based on what they've been in as well. So David Tennant been in loads of stuff, loads of popular. He's been in Star Wars, he's been in Marvel, he's been in Harry Potter, Doctor Who. Like he's been in everything. So him being
Basically,
90 quid, fair enough. I can get behind that. But like the one that really shocked me recently was I forget his name now, but the guy that played Steve in Stranger Things was announced for Telford in November, and he's 130 quid.
Really?
And like,
Oh, wow.
I saw that. Yeah.
like obviously I get Stranger Things is really popular at the moment. He's one of the main popular, they know they're going to make their money off him and people will pay it. But what has he been in other than Stranger Things? Not a great deal. I just think it's a lot of money for someone who's been in one popular franchise.
He's not even.
That's it. Yeah.
He's not the main character as well. Like you would understand if it was maybe merely who's the main character in it as 11, but yeah, he's not even in every scene. So yeah, that is crazy. That price.
But I think they also know that they can charge that amount, and there's people out there that will pay it. So why?
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you know there's going to be people that'll pay it, you'll charge it, won't you?
I mean, I saw at Liverpool Comic Con or something. I'm not sure it was this year, it might have been last year because I was looking. And Jensen Ackles, who plays who's in Supernatural, they were charging over 200 quid for a photo op with them. And I think maybe a similar price for an autograph. And I was thinking that's crazy. I know maybe they travel. They might be put expenses on their travel.
Oh yeah.
Because they're maybe from America, but I still think for like the fans, that is crazy money.
I don't think I would pay more than £100 for anyone.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned. It's funny you mentioned Jensen Ackles because as a here they have like these annual Supernatural conventions. They're pretty small, but I've only been to one myself. Last year was my first one, but they're doing one next year, and it's got Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki, the two main guys, Sam and Dean from Supernatural. And if you want to be able to get photos with them, you have to buy the cheapest ticket doesn't allow you to get photos with them. You have to buy the next one up, which is 630 Australian dollars. I don't know how much that is in pounds, but you need to buy that ticket to be able to get photos with them. If you buy the cheapest ticket is like 100 and something, and you can't get photos with them. And to me, and then they have like another 3 or 4 ticket tiers after that. I think the most expensive one ends up being like 3,600 Australian dollars, and it includes like all these like a concert and all this like VIP stuff and everything. But I look at it, to me, like as soon as I see that, I'm like, no way. But there are people who are like dive on it, and I've seen people who have met them before and are still going to pay that money to meet them again. And I'm like, as much as I love them and I love Supernatural, it's like, again, not like they're A-list celebrities. I don't think you can really justify that sort of money, but apparently other people disagree. So,
I mean,
I met Chris Hemsworth, and he was only he was like 110 Australian dollars for a photo with him, and I know he lives here, but still he's been in the MCU. So
it's easy for us to forget that they're human beings, they're people, they're not gods. And I think sometimes we forget that. I mean, I know they're celebrities, and like for some people they mean a lot and all that sort of stuff. I get that, but I still think people that are paying sort of 200, 300 quid, whatever it is, to meet one person for like 10 seconds is insane. But equally, in the same way, I wouldn't ever sort of say that to anyone, because if your money, if that's what you want to do and that makes you happy, absolutely go for it. Do you know what I mean? It's just I personally wouldn't spend any more. Like £90 for David Tennant was like my top limit. Any more than 100 is too much for me. But
that's fair.
But I think, like I said, each to their own. If that's, for some people, that's
of course
all they'll spend their money on, isn't it? So, go for it.
Yeah.
And you know what they say, it's a free country,
Yeah, absolutely.
I've spent a lot of money on celebrity photos and autographs over years, but I have there are limits to what it gets to a point where you're like, I can't justify spending that money to stand next to someone for a few seconds. It's funny because you it's become such an industry now and such a business. Like you hear stories about like back in the day, they'd get like Tom Baker or John Pertwee out here, and you just get like free autographs. It'd be like $10 to get into a convention at a university lecture hall, and you get like an autograph, and and take it's all very casual, very cheap, and but it's become such a business and such an industry now. It's a whole different ball game.
I mean, when Tom Baker
That's it,
was the
yeah.
Doctor, there was the sense that he would just dress up and go out in public, wouldn't he, and just meet kids and stuff. Like
Yeah, he did that. Yeah.
my dad tells me the story of I think I can't remember if he met him or not, but he had a like signed autograph from Tom Baker. I think he must have done, he must have been, because I think he just used to go out and hand them out. But I said to him a while back, "Have you still got it?" He was like, "No, I think I threw it away." I was like, "Are you joking me?"
Why would you do that?
I was like, well, I mean, he's not a Doctor Who fan, obviously. Like, as a kid, he might have watched it, but like now he's not bothered. So obviously, when he grew up, it meant nothing to him. But when he told me he'd thrown it away and nearly had a heart attack, I was like, "What is wrong with you?" Because that's probably the one I'm never going to be able to get now as well. Because he's not likely to do any cons now, is he?
No, that's fair. Yeah.
No.
I'm like it's a different. I guess it's a different time. Fan culture wasn't what it is now. It wasn't the same sort of
Grown a lot bigger.
Yeah, so like Tom. I know Tom is my favorite Doctor. So I know I'll never get to meet him. I did get an autograph from his website years ago, so at least I've got that. Like I think 10 years ago, I remember he had said they did for the 50th, they did like a convention here with they had like Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGann, and apparently they invited Tom, but he said his traveling days were well and truly over. So I thought that was 10 years ago, so there's definitely no, and I don't know if he even does conventions in the UK anymore, but yeah. So I know I've missed
he was apparently going to do a really small one. I think it was linked to. It was like at the site of one of the old Third Doctor episodes. I can't remember which. And he was apparently going to do that, but he was only going to be there for like an hour. And then he was going to go and just sign a load of autographs and leave them there for people to buy, sort of thing. But what is he now? 89, 90?
I think he's
89.
89, is he? Is he? Okay,
yeah. He's 89. He's 90 in January.
Yeah, so I mean, he's not going to want to.
He's an old man. It'll be hard.
That's why I don't expect him. That's why I don't expect him to be in like the 60th or anything. Let him have his rest. Let him be.
I think so.
He's still doing Big Finish. We've probably got like a years worth of Big Finish with him still. Just let him enjoy his twilight years. He doesn't need to be wheeled out for our enjoyment.
That's fair. Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
If you look at
absolutely.
Pictures, he's getting old, isn't he? Bless him.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I saw a recent photo of him, and he looks. As I saw him in a recent photo, and he looked a lot thinner, and I was a little worried about him, to be quite frank. I mean, he looked energetic, he looked very happy, but
he's quite skinny.
I mean,
yeah,
skinny. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just a bit worried about him, but.
I had that same reaction when I first saw one of those photos about, oh my gosh, he's lost so much weight. That's when I think that was the first time it hit me that like, oh my gosh, he is quite old, and he always still felt quite spry for his age. But I think when I saw photos of him looking like that, I was like, yeah, I sort of braced myself that it won't be too long probably, But
I mean, we've not had to lose yet, so
at least we got him in the 50th.
Yeah,
if that was the last time we're going to see him, I think that's a good way to end him. I reckon
it's worthwhile, and it was a pleasant surprise to see William Russell appear in Power of the Doctor. So nothing's ever out of the question. Never would have expected that, but
I didn't know. I think he's actually 10 years older than Tom. I think he's 99.
Yeah,
he's 97. I think
97.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's not quite that old. I think he's 97 or 98. But he said he's not doing anything else. I think he's got dementia. They've announced now, haven't they, William Russell, or something along those lines?
Yeah, apparently he had a care for one of his grandkids or something was there helping him, like just because he's got like dementia or something. But he's 98. 98. That's amazing.
Right, 98.
But hey, he showed up. He gave a great performance. It was great to see him. gave us all a little.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a.
It was a beautiful moment, that scene.
It's funny when
It
he
was-
found
Yeah.
out that the Doctor is now a woman. So.
Did you say she? I'm just part of me like as much as I loved that scene, part of me thinks, oh, does that mean we're not going to get anything like that for the 60th? Like we sort of already had that just last year, or are they going to build on that and do something like that again? Like it'd be nice to have something like that for the 60th, but at the same time, I acknowledge that we did just get, Doctors returning, Companions returning just a year ago, so
I saw
you
an
know,
interesting
yeah.
idea on, well, not Twitter, X the other day. Someone said that they should build upon the Companions Anonymous meeting, and they should do like a spin-off where you have them each tell a story and each episode. So similar to Marvel's What If. So each episode is its own
Oh yeah.
story, but they could do it animated, and so then you could still bring them back, but as voice actors, which would be quite interesting.
Sort of like Big Finish's Companion Chronicles, where it's just like a companion narrating a story. That'd be cool. I'd like something like that. That'd be fun.
Yeah. That would be nice.
It would.
They've got the potential to do all these spin-offs of the Disney money, so it'd be cool to see him doing things like that. That'd be fun. Like I said, it could be like.
I think Russell did announce that spin-off shows were coming back. So
yeah,
I would be surprised. Yeah,
he hasn't said what.
Yeah,
we've got Unleashed.
Yeah,
coming.
That's the behind the scenes show.
That's a start.
Confidential.
It's still technically a spin-off, but yeah.
I
would love to see Torchwood come back.
It'd be I
don't think they'll touch it now, because I don't think they'll do it without Jack, and I don't think the BBC will allow them to do Jack.
Yeah,
so.
I was going to say that's the only
kind
problem.
Of a shame,
I mean,
Big Finish had a whole recorded story. They had like a 10th Doctor Jack team up Torchwood special, and they never released it because of what went on, and so I don't. So I don't think I'd love to see Torchwood again, but
I don't.
Probably not going to happen.
I don't know if any of the other actors who are in it, maybe like Gwen, would go over to Unit potentially. Maybe I don't know if they would do that.
Or Eve was another one that was really cagey at Comic-Con when she was asked if she was involved in anything coming up, and she was sort of like, didn't really want to say anything. So I do wonder if she's going to sort of be involved with the Unit thing, perhaps.
Yeah.
If I were a Doctor Who actor, even if I wasn't involved, I'd just try to act like that just to get more attention, just for a bit of clickbait, drive some more traffic to your social media, just like, oh, you're going to be involved in the 60th? Oh, can't say. And go get all the headlines. Oh, well, such and such.
I mean, Torchwood. I to be honest, I wouldn't see any point bringing Torchwood back anyway, because he kind of finished. Like everyone died. You only had Gwen and a Jack alive anyway, so it makes sense maybe Gwen to go over to Unit because she's doing her own thing. So it kind of.
I think that could work.
Yeah.
I think when I met up with Ash in Sydney, I told him I had a little idea for a Torchwood reboot, and it would involve time travel. So so just to paraphrase it, so the Torchwood team of today find a time machine. Gwen uses it to go back in time to attempt to save Tosh, Owen, and Yanto, but something goes wrong. She gets sent back to the 1970s to the events of the Green Death instead, because set in Wales, I thought that makes sense. And essentially she messes with the timeline. So obviously when she comes back to the future, everything's different. Tosh, Owen, and Yanto are alive. They didn't die in this new timeline. And of course, Global Chemicals and Boss are the main villains of the show. But then over the series, a paradox is building, and the Reapers are in that paradox. So when the paradox becomes too strong, the Reapers come down and, do their thing. They devour everybody. And obviously, if that was to happen, I wouldn't want those characters' return to be permanent, because, it'll take away the emotional impact of their death. So I think it'd be more interesting if it was a sort of a temporarily fix or temporary thing. And of course, obviously, Jack and Gwen have to go back to the 70s again and prevent Gwen from messing with the timeline in the first place, and then resetting the timeline to what it was. I thought that'd be an interesting idea, but again, like you said, they may or may not touch Torchwood now, but you never know. Time will tell.
You
Well, we've
don't-
got rumours of this villain spin-off thing as well, isn't there?
Oh yeah,
That
the monsters.
apparently is,
one.
Oh,
yeah. So
haven't
that
heard
could be
about that.
interesting. I, mean, I
What's
don't know
Is
the
it?
full extent of it. Is it meant to be animated? I think, isn't it, Mason?
Yeah, I think so.
Something
I think it was a sign about the Daleks and I think the Cybermen. They're basically doing something where they they tell it from the villain's point of view. So like I don't think I'm not sure if the Doctor will be in it. I think it's just how their life is, and do different
Yeah.
episodes. I think it might be
That'd be
animated. It might not be, but it sounds pretty good though.
I think it would make
That'd be
more
good.
sense for it to be animated, something like that.
Yeah,
something a
Yeah,
bit different.
yeah.
It's like because Big Finish has done stuff like that. They've done like Dalek Empire, which David Tennant was in before he was the Doctor. They did a Cyberman series back in the day. So it's cool if they're going to start sort of looking to those sort of things for inspiration, like thinking outside the box a little. Like they could do a Weeping Angel series, just a bunch of statues standing around. 20 minutes. It'd be cheap. You just have some
sure.
statues. The lights go out. You hear some noise. They've moved. There's your episode.
You know what
Just a
those
live
And people
feed
watch it.
you know those series on telly where you can actually make your own choices for what happens. They
Yeah.
could do that with a Weeping Angel. Like they could make I don't know a Weeping Angel movie or something where you make your decisions to like blink or kill the guy off, and that you can do it like that. I think something like that would be nice.
That's a
they
great
should
idea.
They should announce the Silence series 2, and people will go, "What do you mean? There was no season 1." And I'll go, "Wasn't there?
Exactly.
Don't you remember what it wasn't there?"
I can't remember what
Every
you're
year they
saying.
announce one, but it's like 5 seasons on.
Yeah, like we're coming up to the 10th season now. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but I like monsters like that where they've just appeared the once. I think they should do like more like that. Like have a new monster we haven't seen before, and integrate them like they're just here, just for like one story or something.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think Russell, like the fact he's bringing back the Celestial Toymaker, I think that we can probably expect to see like other, he always seemed to be big on returning monsters and things. So I think we'll see more of that. And I love that sort of stuff. I'm always a sucker for like a return.
Yeah.
So
I just want the monk. That's
And then
all I want. That's all I'm
oh,
asking.
I've been dying
Yes,
for
the
the
monk. Yes.
Like,
They,
when are we going to get the monk?
Have you heard about
Stop bringing back the
apparently-
master all the time.
I think was it under Moffat they were toying with the idea of having Matt Berry play the monk.
Oh my god.
Matt Berry from
That would have been funny.
and I don't know how far it got, but again, this is like something they were toying with, and obviously it didn't happen. But I thought that would have been amazing. I'd love to see the monk come back.
Well, because I mean, Rufus.
Yeah,
Is it who is it that plays him in Big Finish? Rufus something or other.
Rufus Hound.
That's the one. He's excellent. I know he's been in the show because he was in Capaldi's era, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But I'd still have him.
Really-
I'd still have him in the show as the monk.
Capaldi was
he
in the
plays
show
it better.
before he was the Doctor. Like, it's not like that stopped him before. Capaldi, Karen Gillan, Colin Baker, they were all in the show before they came back.
And it'll be really easy to
That's it,
that
yeah.
character in. I think it's the girl the woman who lived, isn't it? He's in.
Woman who lived. Yeah.
It'll be really easy for them to say that actually that was the monk just causing chaos because he's quite a pain in the ass character, isn't he?
Yeah. Just,
yeah, that's right.
Rima was actually in Doctor Who as well before she played
Yeah.
Martha,
As her cousin.
Yeah.
which is very
Oh, was it?
As
confusing.
well.
It's very confusing because you wouldn't really notice that.
Identical cousins. Well, yeah, I never noticed it the first time around until I read about it. And the next time I watched, Army of Ghosts, I was like, oh yeah, it is too. There she is.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
think the Guardians of the Edge will get used in the 60th. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I've seen people like saying they think that one of the scenes of Shooty in the trailer, people thinking that that's in that the Guardians of the Edge thing, but I don't know. I don't think so. I guess it depends how far along Russell was with things before, like Power of a Doctor came out about a year ago. I don't know if he was privy to any of script details or anything. I don't know how long he's been working on scripts and whatnot, but like I think it's a good way of being able to bring back past Doctors without too much without too much trouble. But yeah, I don't expect it to happen in the 60th.
Well, that scene of Shooty in the trailer as well, where he says, "Can someone tell me what's going on?" Russell has said in Doctor Who magazine that the background for that is not like they've edited the background. That's not where he stood, because the background he's actually stood in would have been too spoilery. So I'm interested to know where he is.
It's just Tom Baker's scarf and Colin Baker's coat floating behind him.
Yeah, imagine just every Doctor just stands around him.
Yeah, every Doctor's just like piling him behind him, like crowding his little selfie.
Hello.
My first thought was Gallifrey, but
I think Gallifrey might return in 60th. But I think that the scene at the last end of the trailer, I think that's in the Toymaker's realm. So what I think may happen is that the Toymaker is has trapped Shooty's Doctor in his realm until the 14th Doctor does all the game. So Shooty, the 15th Doctor, can escape, and then I think David Tennant and Shooty will interact at some point. It would be an opportunity not to miss if they didn't interact. But yeah, it's a mystery to see what's happened.
I mean, my theory is that the Toymaker has meddled somehow with the regeneration, which is why, because if you rewatch the regeneration scene, it doesn't sound quite right and it doesn't look quite right. I mean, obviously we get the outfit, which we never usually get, and I know there was a whole, internet debacle about that, but I think I'd be very surprised if Russell hasn't written a reason why into the plot for that. So I wonder if the Toymaker has had something to do with the regeneration. It should have gone to Gatwa, but didn't because of his meddling. So it'll be sort of having to fix that and make the regeneration go where it should do. But yeah,
that's essentially what I've been thinking too. Like I sort of assumed that's the monk is somehow the Toymaker has somehow interfered, and like I'm curious to know whether they'll is it going to be like, oh yeah, so it should have gone to Shooty, and like we're going to somehow backtrack and erase Tenant number 2 so that Shooty will be the 14th Doctor, but they've spent all this time saying that oh yeah, Tenant is the 14th Doctor, so I don't know whether they would backtrack. I've heard people talking about a split regeneration or something, where which I'm not sure how I feel about that idea. See what happens, I guess.
Well, there's people saying that they're going to do it to try and set up a Tennant and Tate spin-off, which I really hope isn't the case.
Me too. I hope. I wouldn't like.
Sounds a bit silly.
And what they gonna do? If they did that, what they gonna do?
Well,
exactly.
He'll get his own TARDIS, and
then you could have Rose gets her own David Tennant. Donna gets her own David Tennant. Poor Martha still misses out.
Yeah.
She was bloody typical. As if we need another David Tennant Doctor running around the multiverse. We're going to be doing Spider-Man meme.
The only way I could see that happening is if it is a multi by regeneration. The only way I can see that is if they end up saying that the Doctor is the Meta Crisis Doctor, who is the 14th Doctor. That's the only way I would see that working. It'd be funny if we've got 2 David Tennants on screen because, like she says, point to the point in me.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm not against the idea of a bi-generation. I just hope that it's dealt in the story that it then has to be sort of sorted out. Like it's not a permanent thing. So again, something's gone wrong with the regeneration. We've ended up with a split, and it's like both of them are weak as a result and need to sort of come together, sort of thing. That would be okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping they keep it. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't sort of do any weird, unnecessary tricks. Just as simple and straightforward as possible. Obviously, there's been some sort of interference, some sort of issue. They can resolve it. I hope they just keep I'd be happy just keeping it linear. Just simply regeneration was interfered with to make him have an old body, but then gets put back on track. He regenerates into Chuti. It's all good. No branching off or anything necessary. Yeah, I think he will interact with Chuti at some point. There'll be some sort of like 14 and 15 interaction in some way, but
yeah, it gives me Stranger Things vibes from Australia as well. With all the fire, like it's like that bit, and before they go into the toy maker shop, Tennant's like with that vortex, something came into this world. So I wonder if that's not the toy maker. I think maybe other things come into the world as well as the toy maker, which haven't confirmed. So I wonder what that will be.
I'm wondering if they're going to go really meta, because the fact that Russell is adapting a comic seems odd to me. So I almost wonder if the first story will be almost like the toy maker knowing that, he's within this universe sort of thing, and going, oh, well, I've actually taken the story from another one of your adventures in another medium, and like being really meta about it.
Yeah.
If they went that route,
because I saw I was watching this scene from the Celestial Toymaker episode in 1965 or 66, where the first Doctor defeats the Toymaker by, I think he mimicked his voice for the final piece of the puzzle to go on or something like that. But he has a little speech saying, "Oh, look, the Toymaker is indestructible. The mind lives on forever." So I'm kind of wondering, with Tennant saying a long time ago something came into this world, maybe that's the Celestial Toymaker finally regained himself and rebuilt this entire world, and this is where he takes revenge on the Doctor for defeating him last time. But again, that's an interesting way of looking at it as well. But because I think they were going to bring the Celestial Toymaker back in the 80s, I believe, but that didn't happen because Doctor Who was cancelled in 1985.
Yeah, through the hiatus year, the Nightmare Fair.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would have been awesome. I would love to have seen that. But it's on. But Big Finish adapted it, and I've listened to it, and it's actually a really good story. It's such a shame it didn't make it to the screen, and it would have been so cool for the Celestial Toymaker to have been brought back earlier. But better late than never.
That's why I'm hoping they don't say this is his first reappearance since. Like, I hope they don't say that like this is his first reappearance since his original story. I hope they don't close off the possibility of of the various expanded media appearances he's had, because it's nice to, they don't have to confirm anything, but if they say like, yes, this is the first time I've seen him since back then, and it's like, oh, okay, those things are definitely not canon now. So it'd be nice if they at least leave it open, but he's popped up a few times over years, and this is just the latest time.
They might do some flashbacks from the first Doctor story, maybe in the 60th.
I'm hoping they do.
Hoping they. That'll be amazing.
Yeah, just for like fans who maybe who didn't watch that, or like they've done in the trailer to remind people of Series 4 from Donna's memory. They might do that as well, but it'd be nice for some memory of who the Toymaker is, some backstory of him in the 60th.
That's it.
The only issue you've got there is most of the footage is missing from that story, isn't it? So they might struggle to do that.
I think all they need to do is like a brief. I was just gonna say like a brief sort of clip, and like the Doctor's little monologue, like Andrew said, about how the Toymaker's never destroyed. I think that would suffice. Just have that monologue, and then flash forward to the present day, and
heck, maybe that's what the first episode will open. Like, maybe it'll open with a. A scene recreation, maybe. Have David Bradley reprise his role as the first Doctor and recreate that scene rather than using footage. Although I think I'd rather they use the footage, to be honest, because again,
like they did
anniversary and all that. But it would be cool to see David Bradley come back and
twice upon a time,
exactly like that. Yeah,
just something similar. Start off with footage and morph into a recreation, and that'd be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think Rachel Talalay, is that how I pronounce it? Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Talalay.
Yeah, she's directing episode 1 and episode 3. I don't know who's directing episode 2. I don't know if that's actually been announced yet. But yeah, she's directing episode 1 and episode 2. So I would not be surprised if she does something similar to what she did in Twice Upon a Time, have the footage of the first Doctor as played by William Hartnell, and then morph into David Bradley as the first Doctor, like Ash had suggested. I think that'd be a pretty good way to start the episode, or the whole anniversary trilogy, if you like.
I think
Quite fun.
I think what they'll do, because they did share a graphic on the Doctor Who page of like previously on Doctor Who. So I think what we'll get as well, we'll get at the start of the episode where we'll see Rose on the beach and the Metacrisis Doctor. I think that they'll do all that flashback back to then, like saying previously on Doctor Who, just to remind fans of Series 4. Well, they did include a Waters on Mars clip as well. I don't know if you saw that in the trailer, which of course had. No one would know, but it's actually very nice because I guess the Doctor is not agreeing. He's broke all his rules again. So yeah, I think it'd be a nice way to start it. And of course, seeing Wilfred one last time at the end of the credits, seeing his name in memory of Bernard Cribbin. So yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, it's good. It's going to be very emotional to see Bernard Cribbins on screen for the last time. Because because he was an absolute legend, not only as Wilfred, but in his whole career as well. And it's not going to be easy. Yeah, I think that's for sure.
Well, I think he's a legend of Doctor Who before he was Wilfred anyway, wasn't he? Obviously, he did the movies in the 60s. So, he's already pretty important to kind of Doctor Who history anyway.
That's it. Yeah.
He did a big finish. He did a big finish too. Before he was Wilfred, he played what should I call it? Like a manager to a rock star in the 70s. It was in an Eighth Doctor audio.
With the Lucy Miller one.
Horror.
Oh,
yep. Horror.
I'm going to have to listen to that now.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
It's a good story, actually. That whole series is really good.
Yeah. I love Lucy bleeding.
Okay.
I still want I want to see some Big Finish companions make an on-screen debut. Like they should do stuff like that, or adapt some Big Finish stories or some comic stories. Well, if we're getting spin-offs, Eighth Doctor spin-off would be nice. I would love to see that, because I remember that was rumored back in 2013 when Night of the Doctor came out. I thought, oh, that sounds good, because we never got our season with his Doctor. So if they could do like a one-off or something like that. But then, of course, it never materialized. Yeah, but if they do it now, it's perfect.
I do worry that. I'm a massive Paul McGann fan anyway, and there are a number of people out there that are going to kill me for saying this. But I do worry that he's just getting there a little bit too old now. If you look at him now, like he still looks great for his age. He's 61, 62 now.
Cool.
I mean, like,
no, I think 63. 63.
But either way, he's in his 60s. He's not young now. You got to remember, it's 30 years ago since he did the film. But I think if you look at him in Night of the Doctor and you compare him to now, the 10 years since, he's aged. And I think it's getting to that point now where we're running out of time for us being able to do an Eighth Doctor spin-off. I would love to see it, don't get me wrong. I'll always love to see it. But I just think he's getting a bit too old.
I see your point, yeah.
So, and I agree, but I love 8. He's like on some days he's my favorite Doctor, most days he's my second favorite. But yeah, I agree. Paul McGann, I love him, but it is getting to a point where it's great seeing him Power of the Doctor, but he is visibly older. So I'm getting to a point where it's.
But the thing is here, we've got Disney, so Disney are very good at de-aging people the way they look. So potentially,
hit and miss,
potentially.
I don't know if they'll do that with Doctor Who, though. I don't know if they'll put that much money into Doctor Who.
Yeah, I don't. How long before we get an AI of William Hartnell?
Oh no! No!
Don't want AI in Doctor Who.
I'll stick to David Bradley, thanks.
For the 70th anniversary, we're going to be getting the 3 AI doctors. John Pertwee, William Hartnell, Patrick Troughton, all digitized, and
I think by the 70s you might use Tom as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. There will be a time.
Oh yeah.
There will be a time, which is why all the doctors who are still alive, it's good to use them. There will be a time when we get maybe to the 70s, like in 10 years' time, where a lot of doctors. A lot of the older doctors will be getting on, and we will come to a time where we'll be cutting them off one by one, because a doctor's normally lasts about 7 or 8 years normally. So really, you'll be getting, as the years go on, you'll be having less doctors to work with than more.
Mm.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but
That's why I
that's
like
time. It goes forward.
That's
Yeah.
why I like the idea of going as big as possible while they can. Just bring in as many. I don't shove as many cameos in as you can. Bring as many people back as you can while you can, because it won't happen forever. Like,
That's
Peter
it.
Capaldi, he was already older than most when he did a role. Tom Baker's unfortunately not going to be with us much longer. And Colin Baker, he's getting on in years too. Like, he's older than I realized. I think is he around 80 yet? I think he's
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he's 80. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in his age.
But in terms of looks, I think most fans are happy to just like in Power of a Doctor. Colin Baker looks nothing like what he did when he was the Doctor, but we're all happy just to go like, we don't
There
care.
he
We
is.
got to see him. There he is. No one's going, why does he look different? It's just roll with it. We don't don't need to. It's nice when they try to explain it sometimes, but I think most people are happy just to go. We're just happy to see them. We don't need to it's an elephant in the room we're happy to ignore. We don't need to question why they look
Yeah.
older, but
Mhm.
at the same time, you can't have them in like wheelchairs and walkers,
Yeah.
shuffling down a corridor being chased by Daleks. So
Oh, Tom Baker's been exterminated. He couldn't run fast enough. Pause.
No.
just unless they do the 75th anniversary special will be a parallel universe where like all the doctors have been artificially aged and they're living in a retirement home together, and it's just them sitting around bickering with each other.
That'd be funny.
I'd
That
pay
would
to
be
see
fun.
it.
Yeah, that'd be funny. But guys, last thing before we finish, because we could speak about Doctor Who all day, I think, and we wouldn't know how to stop. But yeah, I'm gonna ask you all. So I'll start with you, Ashley. Is there someone in the 60th that you'd like to see happen, or someone that you would like to see in it that hasn't been announced?
It's tricky because I've been trying to temper my expectations. Like, the fanboy in me wants to go like, yeah, I want to see every single living Doctor. I want to see, et cetera, et cetera, but I want to, I want to see Matt Smith and I want to see, Tom Baker. But realistically, like, I know, like, not to get, there's no point in getting carried away. So if I could have anything I wanted, it would be like, yeah, just I want to see everyone and everything. But if we're being more realistic, tempered expectations, I would probably I'd like to see. So I want there to be acknowledgement of the show's whole history in some way. So I know I've seen people talking about the second episode is the one that seems to be the most mysterious. We don't know much about. So I'd like to think maybe that's an episode where we're going to get maybe some cameos, whether it be past Doctors or something, or some sort of reference to the show's origin. I think it's important that, we're getting a lot of like New Who nostalgia with, David Tennant and Catherine Tate. I just want to make sure that we're also getting, something that connects to the show's history as a whole. So, we already had like William Russell return last year. It'd be nice if maybe we got, Carol Ann Ford as Susan, in even if it's just a cameo or something, something along those lines. It doesn't have to be anything big, or just some connection to the show's origins. So, in terms of specifics, yeah, probably nothing specific, just more a vague notion of I'd like to see something that acknowledges the show's broader history in some way, shape, or form. And yeah, I think that's probably
Yeah,
all I'm asking for, all I'm hoping for.
just show it as a like, highlight the whole 60 years as a whole, not just have put things out of series 4
Yeah,
and
in
stuff like
Yeah.
that.
in some way, yeah, just we're like, I'm already pretty happy about, like, I'm the fact we're getting Beep for Meep is exciting enough for me. The game of Celestial, I've been wanting the Celestial Toy Maker to come back for years, like, so the fact of we're getting both of them has already made me happy. So, just as long as it'd be nice to have something extra, just some little extra bit of something a little extra to celebrate the show's history in some way. And I'll be happy, as long as there's something there.
Yeah, thanks, Ashley. That's a really good answer. What about you, Andrew?
Um, can I be honest? I mostly agree with Ashley. Everything he said is pretty true. So just as long as it's not all about nostalgia for Series 4, obviously David Tennant and Catherine Tate are coming back. That's exciting. That's great. But I don't want just nostalgia for Series 4. I want nostalgia for all seasons of the show, from season 1 in 1963 to the 60th anniversary in 2023. That's what I want to see, you know. And yeah, I would love to see cameos from doctors or companions as well. But again, you know, like Ash said, try not to temper my expectations. And of course, like, you know, I know Russell, that he knows, he's a big fanboy. He knows what he's doing. I trust him. So yeah, I think I think the stage is set. I'm just ready for the ride. I think that's all I'm gonna say on that.
Just ready for the ride.
Yeah, that's it. I'm prepped and I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, there is something that Russell did say. There's something that we are going to get really excited about on the actual anniversary of the 23rd. So, there's lots to prepare for, I think.
Yeah,
Josh,
that's right. Yeah.
Josh, what about you?
I mean, actually, I think I'm excited for the 60th as it is, but I think what I would want to see more than anything else, despite me saying it's almost too late for it, I think would be an Eighth Doctor spin-off. If they announced that as part of the 60th anniversary celebration, that's, I think, because it's been so unlikely for so long, because we've never had a proper series with McGann, and the fact that, you know, some of his Big Finish or all of his Big Finish is absolutely excellent. To get an on-screen series of him, even if it's a 6-episode mini-series and that's it, like, I would take that now. So yeah, I think that would be the thing that would make me happiest, despite it not being part of the 60th. I mean, I've already got one of my 2 favorite Doctors. I just need the other one now. So
it was complete it.
Yeah, exactly. Complete the circle, you know.
Yeah. I'd love that as well. I think he would be up for it as well, Paul McGann.
He's desperate to do it, I think.
He'd love it.
Well, he really wants to do it.
He did a like a photo shoot he went back and he got like some photos taken in the costume again and everything. So I think he's keen, and that's why I was excited when Russell announced, was like, he said how like he thought they hadn't done enough to celebrate the 60th, so he went and like did 6 days of filming doing something, and he said there's these 3 significant dates, you know, one of which is the 23rd, and he said they're not air dates for specials, but there's going to be other things happening on those dates, so you never know, maybe one of them could be like announcing a spin-off or something, you know.
That would be nice, but I think what they're more thinking of is something that maybe they'll show on the day, rather than just announcing something. I mean, they could announce a Paul McGann spin-off, but I think they'll want to do, because there'll be no Doctor Who episode on the 23rd. They've done something really special. Maybe potentially that they've done a Doctor like sketch with all the past Doctors, maybe, who are alive and well. So they might have done that if they can't incorporate all the other Doctors in the specials.
That'd be a good idea.
Okay with that.
And
yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, and it would be interesting to know what the dates are, because I don't know if the dates start before the 23rd, which they probably will. Is this going to be included in the specials, kind of like a follow-on or something?
I think it was the 1st, the 17th, and the 23rd, I think, were the dates he said. And I believe the 1st is, I think, David Tennant's like hosting a documentary about Classic Who, which I think is the one that's happening on the 1st. And then there's the 17th and 23rd, I think. I might be wrong there, but I'm
17th is
sure
Children in Need, so they'll do something on Children in Need, I reckon, for Doctor Who, and and then
it's disappointing we're not going to have one of the specials on the 23rd, but I'll be happy with just like a little, even if it's just like a 6-minute little fun multi-Doctor thing, like, you know, just some sort of fun little celebration. I'd be fine with that.
I think, you know what they should do? I think they should do a 15-minute thing on the 23rd, because there's 15 Doctors. It makes sense to be 15 minutes. So I would say 60 because of 60 years, but that might be a bit too long for a song they did for only 6 days. So yeah, it's all a mystery, but I guess we'll find out soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But thank you all for joining or coming on again today. Talk about Doctor Who.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Mason.
Great.
Yeah, glad you all enjoyed it. And I know Ashley and Andrew, it's quite late for you guys in Australia, so I'll let you go to bed.
Thank you.
I
Thank
nearly
you.
forgot to hold up my sign. I got my little.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, cool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. It must have
Taking
took
my
you,
amazing.
diploma all year.
must have took you a while to do that. Yeah, but thank you all. I hope you all have a nice rest of your day or a good night. But
Right.
have a nice day, Josh. But yeah, thank you all, and to anyone listening, watching, hope you enjoy it as well. Happy 60th anniversary. I'll see you next time.
Thanks for having us. See ya.
Bye.
See ya.